Hello and welcome to my channel. Are you looking for a video that covers the basics of chess? If you're a complete beginner, or if you're just looking to sharpen your skills, this video is perfect for you. During this video, you'll learn the pieces, how to set up the board, and the basic rules of how to play chess. This video covers all the basics as well as some more advanced concepts and strategies. The video is designed to help you become a better chess player, no matter your current skill level. So, enjoy the video, and let's get started playing chess. Each player starts with 16 pieces, 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 1 queen, and of course, a king. The pawns are the weakest piece on the board and are located in the front row. The rooks located in the corner. The knights are placed between the rooks and the bishops, and the queen is placed between the bishops and the king. The objective of chess is to checkmate the opponent's king. This means to place the opponent's king in a position where it cannot avoid being captured. Checkmate ends the game, and the player who checkmated the other player is the winner. Each piece moves differently, and the player can use these pieces to capture their opponent's pieces. The king is the most important piece and can move in one square at a time in any direction. The queen can move any number of squares in any direction. The rook can move any number of squares in a straight line. This means vertical or horizontal. The bishop can move any number of squares diagonally, so the opposite of the rook. The knight can move in an L shape that has 2 squares in one direction and 1 square in another direction. The pawn can move 1 square forward or 2 squares on its first move, but can only move 1 square ahead the rest of the game. Although there are many openings, generally there are some specific rules you should follow to create a nice solid opening for all you beginner players. Usually, what I would recommend is starting with a pawn move, either e4 or d4, the king's or the queen's pawn, up 2 squares, followed by a knight move that goes into the c or the f columns, and then followed by a bishop move, which can go into any column or rank that you wish, as long as it does not put it in danger. After you have moved the knights and the bishops out of the way, you can do a special move called castling, which is where when there's nothing in between your king and your rook, and neither piece has moved, you can move your king over towards the rook 2 squares, and your rook can move to the other side of your king. I generally do this at the beginning of games to make my king a safer spot rather than in the middle of the board. So, without further ado, let's analyze a game from earlier this week that I played on chess.com. This game received an accuracy for me of 84.2, and I had one great move. I played white in this position, and I think I had a fairly good game. So, it started with I played e4. They played e5. I played bishop c4, so the bishop's opening. They responded with d6, knight e2, queen e7, kingside castle, bishop e6, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, knight c3, c6, d3, b5, a4, b4, knight a2, a5, c3. This was one of my mistakes in this game. And then my opponent played b3, trapping my knight. I went bg5, which was an inaccuracy. And then they took on a2, obviously, because my knight was hanging. I played b4. They played f6. I played bishop e3. They played g6. I played b5. They played c5. I played c4. They played bishop h6. I took with the bishop. They played knight h6. I played rook a2. They played g5. I played knight c3. They played f5. I played knight d5. They took on e4. I forked them with, it was actually a three-way fork with the rook, the king, and the queen. They moved their king to e7. I took the queen on e6. They took the knight on e6. Then I took e4 with my d-pawn. They went knight d7. I moved queen d5 check. They moved king e7. I moved g3. They moved knight b6. I moved queen b7 check. They moved king e6. I moved q takes b6. They moved knight g4. I moved f3. They moved knight e3. I moved rook e1. They moved knight takes c4. I moved queen c6. They moved rook c8. I moved queen d5 check. They moved king e7. I took the knight on c4 with the queen. They moved rook to f8. I moved rook f1. They moved h5. I moved f4. Takes. Rook g8 check. Rook g2. Rook takes g2. Check. King takes g2. Rook f6. f5. Rook f7. King f3. Rook g7. King e3. Rook g2. R f2. Rook g1. Queen e6 check. King f8. f6. Rook e1 check. King d2. Rook a1. Queen e7 check. And this is where my opponent resigned. Overall, I think this was a fairly good game. It was a 10-minute game played by me on chess.com. Being a chess player is more than just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. You have to constantly be thinking ahead and developing your skills. You have to be able to adapt to different strategies and always be exploring new tactics. Chess is a fascinating game that requires skill and strategy. By understanding the board setup, pieces, objective, and movement of each piece, you can start playing chess and find out for yourself how rewarding it can be. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful. See you next time.